Hello everyone, and welcome back to another session of Dark Souls PvP and another weapon showcase. This time I am using the Shotel, the Shotel, the weapon whose name everyone seems to have a different pronunciation for. Point is, you know what weapon I'm talking about. I'm probably going to be calling it the Shotel and the Shotel throughout the video just because I have a habit of alternating between how I pronounce it. I don't know why that is, but point is, you know what I'm talking about. It's this curved sword. This thing right here. I like this weapon a lot. It's very, very convenient. I like its R2s a lot. They are fantastic. And I'll explain why a little bit later on for those who are not familiar with this weapon. Now, this curved sword, it has a weight of 2.5 units. So for a curved sword, that's, right around the average. It has a strength requirement of 9 and dexterity of 14, so it's a little bit up there with the dexterity, a little bit, but for the most part, a lot of builds will be able to use this weapon. Sure, they might need to make it along an elemental or magical path, but pretty much every build will be able to use this weapon. So, my bow cleric build uses this weapon on occasion when the bow breaks, or if I'm fighting a person who's turtling really bad and I just don't care to fight them with only the bow. So, point is, a lot of builds can use it. Before I go any farther, actually, this guy right here, NPC name, man, just look at this. He's moving and acting like Tarkus, completely acting like him with the AI. It's great. It's so great. Definitely a great cosplay. I was actually quite upset that I didn't see any of him in the Sunlight Blades top 10 cosplays video that came out recently. That was a bit upsetting, but anyway, moving on with the Shotel. Moving on with this thing. So, the biggest pro of this weapon is its R2 attacks. Now, the reason for that is because its R2 attacks completely bypass your opponent's shield, or guard, or block, or whatever you want to call it. If they're blocking at all, they are completely helpless because you just bypass their block. There's nothing they can do. Sure, they can parry, but at that point they're not blocking, so you really don't need to worry about, going past their block. So, it is what it is. Now, in addition to that, with its R2s, they also have the ability to infinitely stun lock. So chances are, if you're fighting someone who's turtling really bad, they might not even know about how to toggle escape, just because a lot of the really advanced players don't turtle so much. They really don't even use their shields very much for the most part. And I guess what I'm getting at here is, if you're fighting someone who's turtling, pull out the Shotel, you'll pretty much destroy them because they won't know what to do. Now, some other little facts about the weapon. Of course, like all of the curved swords, you do have the very fast R1 spam. That can add up damage very quickly, despite the fact that the AR on this weapon is pretty low. On my build, it's a 40 strength and 35 dexterity. I've got an AR of 366, I believe it is. If I was on a 40-40, that would probably put it up to around 380 something, maybe 384 or something like that if I had to take a guess. Really, it doesn't do too much damage, but I am fairly certain it does less than the Scimitar and the Falchion. I'm probably butchering both of those weapons' names, so yeah. It does less than those, does less than the Painting Guardian sword. I know it's got to be doing less than Quelaag's Fury sword. Really, it's a good weapon. Its ability to bypass shields is the main attraction to it. You'll see a lot of people using this weapon with a buff on it, just because that adds even more damage and makes up for the fact that it's got a low AR. I would have to say that the low AR and the poor reach of the weapon are pretty much tied for the first place con of the weapon, the worst thing about the weapon. It's definitely a tie between the short reach and the low damage. Probably leaning slightly in favor of the short reach, but, of course, for a weapon that can bypass your opponent's shield, you can't really expect to have a long reach. Gotta make it balanced somehow, right guys? So, excuse me. Okay, so, really, The biggest pro, you can bypass shields, you can infinitely stun lock, you've got some really good R1 spammability, I guess, for lack of a better term. Biggest con would be the short reach and the low damage output. Really, I don't think this weapon was intended to become a main weapon. It was supposed to be more of a secondary weapon, your backup weapon when someone starts to turtle or block a lot. You can just pull this out to finish them off. Right there you could see me hitting him through his shield, through the guard, so that sort of just shows you what it's capable of. This is the last fight, last clip in the video, so I already recapped everything. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.